Efed podcast, the podcast exploring our fantasy wrestling hobby, where the wrestling is written, but the characters are real. I'm your host, Mikey Unlikely, and I'd like to thank you for joining us here on the Atomic Dropcast Network. We're back for episode 35. I'm excited. You're excited. Everyone is stoked. Guys, this is going to be a great show. Thanks for checking it out. This week on the interview series, we've got Deshaun, the handler of Sean Parker, one of these guys who are into the 2K feds. I'm excited to dive into that aspect of the hobby. I don't have any experience in it. We have had a couple guys on in the past, and we've got quite a few lined up for the future, so I'm excited to dive into the CAW side of wrestling. We've also got a new question of the week, as if you had any doubts, even though it's kind of a weird one. We've got a new Efed spotlight and good friends of the show as well, the SWA, Social Media Wrestling Association, over on Facebook. We're going to sit down and go over their Fed and how it works. I'm excited. It's a completely different concept, even for me, again. So this show, I don't know anything about anything. We're diving into CAW feds. We're diving into Facebook feds. We're diving into promo feds. It's going to be wild. It's going to be lit, as my good buddy Will would say. Emilio! Okay, sorry about that. And we're going to wrap it up here with some other news, notes, and fun stuff for you. Guys, if you want to interact with the show, you know where to do it over on the Twitter machine at the Efed podcast. I say it every week. You guys do it every week. Need I say more? Check out the Discord. It is in the Twitter profile. There should be a link in there that can get you in. If not, hit me up in the DMs and we'll get you one. Check out at eWrestling Tees on the Twitter machine to check out our new designs. We got them posting pretty regularly now. We are looking at mid-July open as we announced last week. So guys, get ready for EWTees.com. Before we get into all of that, we've got to hit our sponsors. Guys, give out some love. We love them. You love them. They're supporting the show, and you can too over at patreon.com/Efed podcast, where you can get signed up for 4 different levels on the Patreon for as little as $3 a month. You can get some early shows and some more perks, as well as the recorded backlog of everything we've done. All right, guys, I'm excited. Let's jump into the show. Here's a word from our sponsors.
OCW Fed is a hybrid pro wrestling eFed that combines elements of role play and competitive play using the WWE 2K franchise. Whether you're on PlayStation or Xbox, OCW Fed is a creative outlet for gamers and pro wrestling fans alike. With over 16 years experience producing weekly content and live Twitch events, OCW Fed has a thriving community with handlers from all over the world. If this sounds like your cup of tea, come check us out at OCWFed.com, OCW Fed TV on YouTube, and OCW Fed on Twitch. It's like D&D for wrestling nerds.
Hey guys, are you digging this podcast? Well, we really appreciate it. I'd also appreciate it if you check out my other podcast. The Atomic Dropcast is a look back at the wrestling of yesteryear through adult eyes. We watch the wrestling that we watched as kids, as adults, with a couple of beers in our hands. It's a great time. Check it out over at atomicdropcast.com. You can also find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Defiance, an angle fed boasting 8 years of continuous fantasy wrestling. Defiance offers opportunities for original characters, micros, a standalone website utilizing Backstage 3 script, and a forum hosted on the long-running fwrestling.com, as well as a roster full of some of the most experienced writers in the game. Come see for yourself at defiancewrestling.com. That's defiancewrestling.com.
Hey everybody, it's Mikey. No, we're not back to the show just yet. First, I want to tell you about my Patreon. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh no, am I going to have to pay for the podcast? No. The answer is emphatically no. The show has been and forever will be free. No, Brunk, you will not have to pay for the podcast. However, we have been asked by a handful of people how they can help support the show. And we've also been asked, mostly by Fuzz, why we didn't have a Patreon yet. And I quote, "You stupid I can't believe you don't have a Patreon. I will hurt you if you don't take my money now." End quote. That was Fuzz. He's a scary dude. So with that in mind, you can find us at patreon.com/efedpodcast. Contributions start as low as $3 a month. Thank you very much for your consideration. Please get fuzz off our backs. The Efed question of the week is brought to you by the EWC. The Extreme Wrestling Corporation is the game's longest-running roleplay Efed, having been established in 1997. With over 100 active role players across 4 unique brands, the EWC offers opt-in booking on all of its bi-weekly shows. It's home to Stranglemania and the 4-day wrestling festival known as WrestleFest. The EWC is built on its welcoming community with zero bias and no drama. All styles are welcome. Come check out the EWC today at EWC4life.com. That's EWC, the number 4, life.com. Efed Podcast Question of the Week time brought to you by our good friends EWC over at EWC4life.com. Guys, the Efed Podcast Question of the Week this week, it's a pretty simple one. Are you brave enough to post a selfie? And my goodness, did we get a great response from everyone over on Twitter, everyone in the Discord. Loved it. Loved to see it. And everyone's letting their freak flag fly. They're not afraid to show off the man, the woman behind the handler. It's terrific. Excited to see it. Guys, check out the Twitter over at twitter.com/theefedpodcast. The question of the week thread will still be on the profile. Check it out. It will have in the comments about 60 selfies on Twitter, and I think we got another 10 or so over on the Discord. So between the two guys, great response to the Efed Podcast Question of the Week. We got some great selfies. We got some funny ones. We got some serious ones, and everything in between. If you want to see your fellow handlers and what they look like, jump on over to the Twitter machine at the Efed Podcast and check out those comments in that thread. It's a great time. Even a picture of me up there. Ugh. Guys, thanks for participating in the question of the week. We're going to post a new one here shortly on the Efed Podcast Twitter machine. Check it out. It's pinned to the top of the profile. If you drop your answer in the comments, it will be featured on the show. I can't put your selfies on the show, but I can direct you back to where they are.
Hey, this is Seth, the handler of Twists and Turns Oscar Burns, as well as the man of a million other characters, and you are listening to the Efed Podcast.
And it's time for another Efed Podcast Spotlight segment. And this week, the spotlight is on Carnage Wrestling. You can find them at carnagewrestling.com. And what Carnage Wrestling is a role-play fed. They've got a 4,000 word limit, and they are a hybrid fed with shows every 2 weeks, pay-per-views every 2 months, and the cycle is 3 TV shows and then a pay-per-view. They do currently have 5 active championships: the Carnage World Championship, the Ultra-Violent Championship, Tag Team, and the Baltimore City Championship, as well as the Openweight Championship, which is a fun title that changes based on angles in segments on the show. And that's interesting because with a role-play fed, to have one title that switches based on angles, you can have some fun with that. Website link, carnagewrestling.com. You can also find them on Twitter at Carnage Wrestling, without the G at the end. Carnage Wrestling. Right now, they got about 35 wrestlers or so. Some of the top people are Amber Ryan, Mac Bain, Catalina Cortez and Christopher Marlowe, Kyra Johnson, Trent Steele, Godly Ken Davison, Metaxia, Angel Panic, The Empty, and Jack Michaels. Guys, check out Carnage Wrestling. They're an up-and-coming roleplay fed, 4,000 word limit. If you're into it, they got plenty of wrestlers, plenty of titles, and looks like a fun challenge. Check it out, carnagewrestling.com. Pretty soon they're going to be moving over to carnagewrestling.freeforums.net if you are hearing this much later. We're really excited to have Carnage on the show, excited to support them, and if you would like your Fed to be an Efed Podcast Spotlight, get at us on Twitter in the DMs at the Efed Podcast. carnagewrestling.com. All right, guys, the Efed podcast is very happy to announce its brand new partnership over on Facebook with the Social Media Wrestling Association. The Social Media Wrestling Association, along with its 16,000 member strong influence page known as Generational Wrestling Society, has proven to be the true revolutionary Efed company of Facebook. The SWA welcomes written, video, and audio promos for its talent, as well as results provided in live 2K audio commentary and written results. The SWA is more than just an Efed. With GWS, all areas of the wrestling community are covered. From belt collectors, wrestling news, trivia, and podcasts, and Efeds. Check them out on Facebook at Social Media Wrestling Association and Generational Wrestling Society. You can give a search for both. Once you join both, you'll be glad to become associated with the society. And we're going to be posting our show on Facebook exclusively on the SWA and GWS sites. And we're very happy to have announced this partnership with the SWA, and you can hear about it here every week. So guys, go check them out. Social Media Wrestling Association on Facebook. Update 2020. We've got an update on EWTs.com. Unfortunately, it's not the best news, everybody. We were slated to open up the EWTs store on July the 1st, 2020. Unfortunately, we have spoken with our vendor, and because of the COVID situation, they are way backed up between work issues and just having such a huge demand for t-shirts during the COVID situation. Unfortunately, we're going to be pushing back for just a few weeks. We're looking at a mid-July open now, but we are still accepting designs for new t-shirts. We're going to be getting them all up on the website as soon as we can, so that when it comes opening time, we can get your stuff out the door as quickly as possible. Please stay with us. We appreciate your patience. We've apologized for the issues. We never intended or expected this to happen, but we are sticking with our vendor. We looked at some other options, and unfortunately this is the best way for us to move forward at this time. So we are pushing back to mid-July, but we are still planning to open. We are still accepting designs, and we're still going to be putting new ones up on the Twitter machine on the daily. Check out at eWrestlingTees on Twitter, EWTees.com, EFedTees.com, or EWMerch.com. They're all going to take you to the same place. We're going to be opening up that store here mid-July. All right, guys, welcome back to another edition of the Efed Podcast interview series. This week, we're joined by a newcomer to e-wrestling, well, as far as I know, and he's new to the scene on the Efed Podcast. He's at Heel Parker over on Twitter. He is I believe, a world champion, I recently found out on the Twitter machine, in the 2K Efed world and the CAW gaming world. I'm excited to get him on here, ask him questions about CAWs and stuff that we don't typically deal with here on my side of Efedding, but it is, something he can explain to everybody. He can walk us through it and kind of give us a better idea of how it works. So, Deshaun, welcome to the show. Excited to have you on here, buddy. Thank you very much for coming on.
You are welcome. Prior to this, I was very, very nervous to be on here, but now, so.
No, man, no need to be nervous. The beautiful thing about this is it's a recorded show. No one can hear you until Brian edits it to pieces.
All right.
Good stuff. Hey, man, let's start out early on. How did you get into professional wrestling?
How I got into professional wrestling. So off and on, I would watch like 2015, 14, like I saw in New Japan wrestling videos on YouTube or like WWE stuff. And so I decided to begin watching it. It was the Seth Rollins and Sting rivalry. It was when Sting decided to throw the statue of Seth into the trash compactor. And yeah. And so I was like, this is a very good product for me to watch. That's how I got into it, mainly. Last year I went to my 10th event. It was Road to WrestleMania in Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Nice.
I hope to go more around me because I know that Ring of Honor is around me in my area. So
Absolutely, and I've been to many Ring of Honor shows. Big fan of them. I enjoy live experience, man. It's a great time.
yeah.
Oh yeah, so you got into wrestling by watching YouTube videos, and then you kind of branched out from there, and you found the actual product on TV, which was WWE.
Yeah.
Who are your favorite wrestlers early on?
Favorite wrestlers early on?
Who caught your eye first? I mean, like you mentioned Sting and Rollins, but who else would just caught your eye at first?
Caught my eye.
Anywhere, man. Yeah, absolutely.
Hiroshi Tanahashi, Jay Lethal.
Yes.
Jay Lethal is one of my favorites, mainly. Keith Lee.
Yep, another good one.
Cedric Alexander, those mainly.
That's perfect, man. Yeah, Jay Lethal's one of my favorites all time. He's so underrated. I know he's getting paid decent money or good money by Ring of Honor, but man, if he can get on the main stage,
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we will. I'm excited. Who are your favorite wrestlers now? Let's do that.
Favorite wrestlers now.
Obviously, you mentioned Jay Lethal, Keith Lee.
Just Jay Lethal, Keith Lee, Jon Moxley.
Okay.
The reason for Jon Moxley is because, he puts his body through all of this and he enjoys it because it gives him that rush of knowing that he's making people happy. And
it's cool to see him happy too.
Yeah, indeed. Hiromu Takahashi, Zack Sabre Jr.
That's a good group. I mean, it's cool that you enjoy so many wrestlers from so many different directions in wrestling. You got WWE guys, you got AEW guys, you got Japanese guys, you got independent guys.
Yeah.
It's a great mix. So how did you find the wild world of eFeds? Obviously, you got into video gaming eFeds.
Yes, video gaming eFeds. So the way I got into eFeds is I started with 2K17.
Okay.
2K17. And starting off, I didn't know what I was doing. I had no idea what I was doing in those eFeds because, I didn't use the face textures that people use now. I've never used the logos, custom logos. And so 2K17 was me learning the ropes a bit.
Okay.
Having my foot in the water of CAW in general.
So how did you find the feds though? How did you stumble upon eFed in general?
Stumble upon eFed? One of my Xbox friends invited me to a party with a guy who ran one. And
okay. Gotcha.
He decided to bring me in. And when he brought me in, it was 2K18 time. And that's when I made my first call. His name was Damian Douglas. Damian Douglas. He was basically me in call form.
Okay.
And he had the basic moves and stuff and flashy attire. I mean, just black and white, but not that flashy, but somewhat flashy. He was mainly exclusive to those companies though. From when I first began, I was only in just one single company. And one of my friends' companies. And when I truly expand on my broad spectrum of eFed is 2K17, 2K19.
Okay.
With the creation of Sean Parker.
And that's your primary character you're running today?
Yes.
Sean Parker is the one that, I saw on Twitter, and it's a good-looking CAW. It's a good-looking character, and I assume it's much better than your previous.
Yes, indeed.
You're finally reaching that next level in creation.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. So tell us about Sean Parker. What's the character like? And, obviously people can find him at Heel Parker on Twitter.
Well, thank you for asking that. But so Sean Parker, his original planning, so there's a genre of music called soul music.
Okay, I'm familiar.
His nickname was going to be the Heart and Soul Sean Parker.
Oh, focus on the soul.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
he probably was gonna have this like entrance of dancing, like vibrant music. I don't know, a big difference than what he has now. But so like vibrant entrance, vibrant everything. But when I ran with that, he didn't fit that, so I changed it.
Okay.
And I'm gonna tell you this.
You changed the gimmick to fit the look.
Like, I changed his look up. He had like more toned out muscles and stuff like that. And one of his first theme songs was Tetsuya Aito's theme song from New Japan. And it was absolutely hilarious to hear someone coming out to that music. Because to me, it fit him. But since I was expanding out to Carl and on Twitter more.
It didn't click with everybody else.
No, it didn't.
Yeah.
So what I did is I stripped down, because before he had green, blue, red clothing, had the in the game the Cody Rhodes robe in the old games.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it looked like all glitter, had a gold mask, everything.
All flashy everything.
Yeah, all flashy everything. And then towards the end of I said no. So I stripped it all down. And he basically became like white wrist tape, black tights, more dynamic shoes, good tight logos going down the legs, new entrance. Basically, he became like, he was an anti-hero for a brief period of time. He was an anti-hero. Like,
Okay.
He didn't care about the heels, the fists, the fans at all. He went out there, he wrestled, and then came back. That's what he was.
More of
And
a machine.
yes, a machine. And if you ask my friends, then they say I've had many different gimmicks, because there was, for a brief time, I had a priest gimmick. A priest gimmick.
How did that go?
That only lasted 3 weeks.
Yeah, there's some. It gets a little shady with some of that stuff.
It does. Yes, it does. Then it branched off into the $1 Million Man, Sean Parker. Like,
Okay.
Parker Industries had that for a little bit, came out in suits. Stop that. Then it came to the Seattle Savior, Sean Parker. And
You've had quite the evolution.
yeah. It surprised me how many times I changed, really. It really does.
You're turning into the Big Show.
Wow.
So, what came next?
The Big Show. So what came next was, so the Seattle Savior Sean Parker has come up to be one of my most successful gimmicks, and the one I have right now. What it is, so Sean Parker, he's from the Seattle area. So Seattle Savior, bam. And it changed everything. He became heel. He became like snobby, conniving. He didn't care what anyone said or did. All he did was went out there and act like a machine. He fought, he wrestled, he won titles. But afterwards, he began to get like more narcissistic, arrogant, because he kept saying, I am the Seattle Savior. Like, if you want to do something to me, then you're gonna have to try my hardest. Like, try your hardest to beat me. Because Sean has that never say die attitude. Like, if you hit like so much on him, he will still kick out of the move and then go on to beat you.
That's confidence. I like it.
His confidence, his style went from high flying into like power moves and technical wrestling, because so like people who've been following Twitter, you've seen the like evolution of his body. Like, he's gotten like larger now, like a big.
Now he's a good looking character now.
Yeah, beefy boy.
I mean, I didn't know what to compare him to because I didn't see him prior, but since you reached out, I was checking him out. He looks good.
Yeah,
absolutely. So Where are you wrestling at right now?
So the Efeds I'm in right now, Grand Tournament Temple, Future Stars Alliance, TPW Riot, well, Thunder Pro Wrestling Riot, Dojo Pro Wrestling, Unify, MFW, and MIWF. Those ones.
Damn, my man's got a schedule.
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a couple of those feds I know have been followers of the Efed podcast for some time on Twitter. Really appreciate those guys and good shout outs to them. Grand Temple Tournament's one of them. So those guys have been awesome and following us and spreading the word. So I'm happy about that.
Indeed.
Well, good deal, man. Anything else you want to cover before we move over to some questions from the crowd?
No more. Not at all.
Good deal. Over on the Discord, we got a couple questions from some people in the crowd, including a couple people who play CAW. We got Judge Megan. What is your favorite 2K game?
Favorite 2K game? 2K19, because it had the nice dynamic of they knew what they were doing with the game. And very good loading screen. Well, until you play at night and it got, it blinded you. Like the entire screen just white. Like the menu's white, and like if you stayed up like all night and you turned the game on, it blinded your eyes so badly.
And then 2K20, let's talk about that because obviously it's known to have been a terrible release, a horrible game at release, and full of glitches. Is that what you're playing on now, or do you still play on 2019?
2020. Yeah, I play on 2K20 because I try to be an optimistic person about the game, how progress is, but it's just blunt and out there. People bear through it, but
it's just not good.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not.
And so half the feds out there that I know of have stayed on 2019 until 2021's released, and hopefully it's better. But other feds have, like you said, bit the bullet, forged forward, and just moved to 2020 anyway.
Yeah.
What do you think is the better move, having moved forward? Do you think you should have stayed back, or what do you think you should have done?
I think, moving forward, because eventually the previous game is going to lose, the
server support, all that stuff.
Is going to go down. Because that's how those companies work.
To get you to keep buying the next one.
Yeah, get to buy the next one. And moving forward is the best option, because from what we've been seeing with the 2K game feedback, the next game is going to be substantially a whole better game than this one.
It has to be.
It has to be. Or this series is going to crash and burn.
Yep, you got it. That's economics. You can put out a terrible game one time, but if you do it twice in a row, you're done for.
Yeah.
So, Megan, second question. What do you want to accomplish in the world of e-fedding?
What I want to accomplish in the world of e-fedding is, try to get my name known. When people, in conversations, have people speak about how I act, how I talk, how I present myself. Because
build a reputation.
Yeah, I'm slowly doing that, but it's not on that high enough level yet. I want to get to a level where I can say I'm proud of what I'm doing as creator. And it's not like I'm already not proud of it, but I still have the critiques.
I don't think anybody ever thinks anything's perfect, but
yeah,
I think wanting to be better and wanting to be elite is a great goal to have, because all you're going to do is push yourself.
Yes, indeed.
Good answer.
There are some large effects in the community, large sums of them. And in order for you to join those, you have to be known. And you can still have your name be shown in there and still build yourself up in there. But for me, go to the much more I'm not saying these feds are lower tier, but the lower ones in the spectrum, then have them fuel you to go to that shot to the top.
Yeah, oftentimes the bigger feds, they're going to pick the big fish in little ponds.
Indeed.
So, absolutely. So, up next, we got Seth is Burns. How did you come up with your current character?
Now I came up with character. I wanted this character who he wasn't afraid to say his mind about wrestlers. He wasn't afraid to, break kayfabe, as I just put it, like break the script and like just damage his opponents on the mic. And That's how Sean was made, even though his main basis was a dude who dances a lot. But those ideas changed.
Absolutely. Thankfully. Have you run into any crazy situations in your time in Cough?
No, but I have bared witness.
Oh, okay.
Of like drama, beef, like things getting to the level of you need to stop this.
Okay.
There's a lot.
Twitter's pretty rough.
Yeah, pretty rough indeed.
Well, be thankful that it hasn't happened to you yet then.
Yep.
His last question is, have you seen any writing Efeds? And if so, what are your thoughts about it?
Any writing? Actually, no, I have yet to see. I have not broadened my spectrum of writing feds.
Awesome. I mean, hey, be honest about it. You're into 2K feds. That's what you've done. Yeah. Do you think it's something you would be into?
Sure.
There you go. Awesome. Up next is MDG Wrestling Games. If you were to redo any single moment in your Efed career, what would it be?
Winning my first title. Because...
Really?
Yes, because, like, feeling the moment when... I mean, nothing's more satisfying than just winning your first championship company. Like, it's so satisfying seeing that what you've done has paid off in the long run.
Yep.
Like, you've done all this work for so long, and then when it finally, you get to that epithet, it feels good.
You're chasing that high, man.
Yeah, it's satisfying. It really is. It's great.
That's awesome. Great answer. Up next is Jakey. His question is, how do you do moves good in game?
How do I do moves good in game?
He is not a 2K player.
Oh, okay. Well, Jakey, you don't decide how the moves do themselves. You put the moves on the character, and then they are placed in AI versus AI situations.
So you don't have to do anything, Jake. You just build the character and put them in a sit.
Yes, you build the character, you place them in the Fed. They are used to their highest potential, or if you're not active, then they're not used at all.
Fair enough. Makes sense. That's how it goes in writing Feds too, man. If you're active, you're used. If you're not active, you're out.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, you can only disappear for so long. All right, finally, our man OCW Fed at OCWFed.com.
Boy.
JCS. He's our boy. He's our cowboy. He's our guy. He's our sponsor.
All right.
He's got like 10 questions for you, bro.
All right.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. How many cough feds have you been in?
13.
Since 2017.
Yes, 13 of them.
Next question. Do you prefer sim, highlight reel, AI versus AI, or competitive type matches?
AI versus AI, and I don't think you know about sim and highlight reel that much, do you?
I do not. I do not.
Well, sim matches are pre-recorded matches. Sim is like small bit of highlight reel, small bit of online, and small bit of competitive. So if you watch some sim shows, they do things that Cause wouldn't do.
Okay.
Like, they use the taunts, they use like the spots.
Oh, I gotcha. They got plenty of time to do their stuff.
It's all spliced together so smoothly that you really don't see what they're doing, right? Like, it's put together so smooth. Okay. Highlight reel is using the highlight reel aspect. So you put the camera in one area, and that move happens. Then the match continues more and more and more. And competitive is online, I think.
Yeah, it's 1v1.
Yeah,
Yep.
1v1.
So yeah, and that's what OCW Fed is, and that's why he mentioned it. So you do the AI versus AI. That's what Sean Parker's into.
Yes. But I hope to branch out more into Sim.
There you go. So any Sim Feds, reach him out at Heel Parker on Twitter. There you have it. Do you have a favorite Fed at the moment?
Favorite Fed at the moment. Favorite Fed, MFW.
MFW. What's that stand for?
Maximum Force Wrestling. Very, whole lot of different personalities. Very nice. Sometimes very mean. Very good. Very good people.
Do you see any problems with modern day Kaw Feds? And if you do, what would you do to change it?
Modern day Kaw Feds. Oh, have the drama in the chats be taken to the DMs as soon as possible, because no one wants to hop on to a chat and see like copious amounts of OOC stuff happening.
Yep.
And just give the people more information on what to do and what not to do. Like, do not bring the personal life of someone into a promo or into anything else like that, because that could offend them, or it could make them feel not comfortable in that Fed anymore.
Absolutely. Great points, yeah. Your OOC life is your life, and it should not bleed into the game.
Yes.
So do you have any favorite match of yours? And if so, which one is it, and where can we find it?
Favorite matches of mine. First one is Final Destination by Grand Tournament Temple. My match was the co-main event. It was against my friend, Nick Chastity. You can find him, WDK Nick Chastity on Twitter. So we had this large, full-scale rivalry planned out, and it was get like heat levels, like heat. And from the match observer, the call rating scale, it was 5 stars for them, 5 stars, and that was my first 5-star match already. It was very, very. I was proud of myself. It was great.
That's awesome.
Another one of them is one of my recent ones.
Okay.
Maximum Force Wrestling, Voltage episode 12, the most recent episode, North Carolina. It was the main event. Roy Pierce against me. Me being the Heritage Champion.
Okay.
And the match was a banger. It was like striking moves and the classic ending of 3 finishers to put your opponent down. Roy, very good wrestler in a whole. Man, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Him at the Kimura Killer on Twitter. But just very good match to the whole. Amazing people, you know.
Absolutely. Did you retain the title?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, baby. Oh, awesome. Well, his next question is, would you ever try to run your own league?
I've had previous runs with running my own league. Did not work out. Did not work out at all. It was an attempt.
Yeah. It's tough,
Like,
man.
I'm used to be just having a call, be who I am, and just go out there and make people, like, have fans, followers, like, I just like being a call, man. That's it.
Yeah. Hey, get in where you fit in, man.
Yep.
If you love to play the game one way, don't try to force something else. What advice would you give to someone just starting out in CAW?
Don't over.
Just don't.
So. Just don't. Like, just don't undercall, please.
Yeah.
But
No, go ahead.
just don't overwhelm yourself. I have self-pity. I think that I'm the cause of many problems. If you see a message I'll send to you like me asking you for something, like I'll put at the end like sorry for bothering you or sorry for bugging you. That overwhelms me because I think I'm causing problems here. But
Yeah.
that's beginning to fade away. So the advice to that is don't overwhelm yourself to a point where you're just like, because if you do that, then you'll just cave in and you won't do anything anymore. Like you'll become a husk. All you'll do, Caw is for fun. Caw is what people enjoy to do. Don't make it a bad thing for yourself. Don't make it bad for yourself.
Don't put extra stress on yourself.
Yes.
Who are your least favorite Caw characters, if you have any?
Least favorite Caw characters?
You ready to drop some bombs and call some people out?
Eli Drago. Oh, he's tired now. Jaden Shadow. Jay Mamba.
Okay.
Chase Frost, TJ Ace.
The man brought his shovel tonight, boys.
Well, I'm sorry. It's just the way that they present themselves isn't, like, to me, it's just bad. Jaden Shadow, especially. You said least favorite characters, so
I did. Hey, bring it, man. I'm with it.
I got the platinum shovel tonight. The shovel, the iron shovel. I got it for you.
All right, let's flip the script. Last question: who are your favorite Caw characters?
Favorite Caw characters. All right.
Not including yourself.
Ryan Gates, Roy Pierce, Paul. So I stutter.
No, you're fine, man.
Paul. It's Paul Mota. Isaiah the Prince Evans. For Isaiah the Prince Evans. Dennis Fox, I think. Dennis Fox. Maverick Flynn. Chris Connors. Jarek Lawson. Joshua Benjamin. Ezra Fox. Sawa Yoshihiro. James Wellington. Aaron Christopher. Just a lot of people.
That's it. There you go, man.
Yes.
You got the Hall of Fame list. you got the burial list. It's great. I love it. Man, you've been a good sport. I've had a lot of fun interviewing you. I really appreciate you taking the time to come on. But before we go, is there anything else you want to put over? Anything else you want to promote?
This is not a promotion. This is a disclaimer to people. I tend to ask people's opinions a lot, like on finishers that fit my character, even though it's my choice. That's just how I've been for a while now, because I think that some moves don't fit my character, and some do not fit him now, since he's quite sizable now. Yeah. But would you mind me asking you, like what moves would you fit on him?
Oh man, I have no idea, brother. I haven't played a 2K game since like 2K14.
No, like if I was in a
if he's definitely a bigger boy and he's doing stuff like that, let me think. He used to be kind of thinner, kind of leaner and flyer, and now he's a thick boy.
141 pounds.
240. That's not terrible. Let me send you some YouTube clips.
All right.
I got you. I'll let you steal. I'll let you steal my character's finisher. We'll talk about it. All right, man. Anything else you want to cover?
Also, reach out to me with some with some written feds. I'm for it.
Will do.
And any new feds who want to sign me, I'm open.
At Heel Parker on Twitter. He's looking to check some stuff out, expand his Efed horizons. Deshaun, thanks so much for coming on the Efed podcast.
You're welcome.
That was a lot of fun, guys. Episode 35 is in the books. We're going to wrap it up. Want to thank Deshaun for coming on and talking about his character, Sean Parker. It was a blast. Want to thank all of our sponsors for supporting the show. As always, you should check them all out. The EWC4life.com, OCWFed.com, and OCWFed over on YouTube. We want to thank DefianceWrestling.com, #1 angle fed in wrestling. We want to thank theatomicdropcast.com, where you can check out our other podcasts, me and Brian chit-chatting, bullshitting about wrestling, getting drunk. It's a great time. And of course, thanks to each and every one of you and our supporters over on patreon.com/EFED podcast, where you can support the show. We've got quite a few guys helping us out, helping us grow the brand, and supporting me and Brian as we come up with these wild and wacky ideas. EWT's EFED podcast, Atomic Dropcast. We're just trying to entertain you guys, have some fun, and play this game that we all love. Guys, thanks for supporting the show. For Brian, I'm Mikey, and you've been listening to the EFED podcast, where the wrestling is written, but the characters are real.
Free on Patreon.